right. So have you ever like felt this like burning desire to achieve something really like extraordinary?
Yeah.
Something that seems almost impossible?
Yeah.
What if I told you that like this burning desire is actually like the first step
Right.
to achieving those big dreams?
Yeah.
Today we're diving deep into chapter 1 of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich
Oh, yeah.
to like uncover the secrets
Yes.
to turning those big dreams into reality.
I love it.
And don't worry, this is just chapter 1.
Oh, good.
We'll be unpacking the rest of this incredible book in future deep dives.
Awesome.
So get ready for some serious aha moments as we unpack the surprising truth
Yeah.
about how wealth is built.
Yeah. So what's so fascinating about this book is that Hill interviewed over 500
Wow.
incredibly successful people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
And distilled their wisdom into these powerful principles.
Okay.
And he starts off strong with the story of Edwin Barnes,
Okay.
a man who had this burning desire to become a business associate of Thomas Edison himself.
Okay, so we're talking about the Thomas Edison,
Right.
the inventor of the light bulb and the phonograph.
Exactly.
This Barnes guy must have been something special, right?
Well, here's the thing. Barnes started with absolutely nothing.
Wow.
He didn't even have enough money to travel to meet Edison,
Okay.
but he had this unshakable belief that he was meant to work with Edison.
Right.
So what did he do?
I don't know. What did he do?
He hopped on a freight train as a stowaway, basically riding the rails like a hobo just to get to Edison's lab.
Wow, that takes guts.
Yeah.
So he just shows up at Edison's door looking like, well, a stowaway.
Right.
And somehow convinces Edison to make him a partner.
Not exactly. Edison was initially unimpressed by Barnes's appearance, but what struck Edison was the look in Barnes's eyes, the sheer determination and unwavering desire. Edison saw something special in Barnes, a quality that he called definiteness of purpose.
Oh.
He gave Barnes a menial job, not the partnership he craved,
Right.
but it was a foot in the door.
So Barnes didn't just get what he wanted right away,
Right.
but he didn't let that stop him.
Exactly.
He kept that burning desire alive.
Yes, and that's a key point here.
Yeah.
Barnes didn't settle. He kept his ultimate goal in mind while working tirelessly, constantly looking for opportunities. And his chance finally came when Edison invented a new dictating machine called the Ediphone. Edison's salesmen weren't having much luck selling it,
Oh,
but Barnes saw this as his opportunity to prove himself.
he must have really believed in that product.
He did. Barnes had that unshakable confidence in himself and in the Ediphone. He knew he could sell it, and he convinced Edison to give him a chance.
Right.
He ended up being so successful that their partnership became legendary, culminating in the slogan,
Wow.
made by Edison and installed by Barnes.
Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Barnes literally manifested his dream into reality.
Oh.
He went from riding the rails to becoming a partner of one of the greatest inventors of all time, all because of his burning desire and relentless persistence.
That's precisely what Hill wants us to understand.
Yeah.
Desire is not just wishful thinking.
Right.
It's a powerful force that can propel you towards your goals if you harness it correctly.
So it's not just about wanting something really badly.
Yeah.
It's about having that burning desire and backing it up with unwavering belief and action.
Yes.
But what happens when we hit roadblocks? I mean, not everyone can just hop on a freight train and end up a business partner with Thomas Edison.
That's where the danger of quitting too soon comes in, and Hill illustrates this brilliantly with the story of R.U. Darby and his uncle's gold mine.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this gold mine.
Darby's uncle had invested everything he had in searching for gold. He dug and finally struck a vein.
Wow.
He was on the verge of becoming incredibly wealthy, but then disaster struck. The vein seemed to disappear, and he just couldn't find it again.
Oh, man, I can't even imagine the heartbreak.
Yeah.
It was so close.
Here's the kicker. A junk man bought the uncle's equipment and with the help of a mining engineer struck a massive gold vein just 3 feet from where Darby's uncle had given up.
You're kidding. 3 feet.
3 feet.
All that hard work, all that investment, and he quit just before hitting the jackpot.
Right.
Talk about a tough lesson.
A brutal lesson, but an important one. Darby himself learned from his uncle's mistake and applied this stickability to his own life, particularly in his career selling life insurance.
Okay.
He refused to let setbacks deter him. He had a saying.
Oh, really?
I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance.
That's some serious resilience. It sounds like both Barnes and Darby had this ability to turn setbacks into fuel for their determination.
And that's a crucial takeaway from these stories.
Yeah.
Obstacles are inevitable,
Right.
but it's how we respond to them that determines our success.
Okay.
Do we give up and go home like Darby's uncle?
Right.
Or do we dig deeper, push harder, and find a way like Barnes and Darby?
This is really making me think about the times I've given up too soon.
Yeah.
But what about those times when you feel like you're banging your head against a wall?
Right.
How do you know when to persist and when to, I don't know, maybe try a different approach?
That's a great question, and it's something Hill addresses through another compelling story in this chapter. It's about a young child who teaches a powerful lesson about unwavering determination.
Okay, I'm all ears.
What's the story about?
This young girl, a determined little colored child, as Hill describes her, approaches Darby and his uncle at the mill one day.
Okay.
She confidently walks up and demands 50 cents, saying, "My mammy says send her 50 cents. Darby's uncle, trying to get back to work, brushed her off. But this little girl was not going to be ignored. She stood her ground, refusing to leave empty-handed.
She sounds like a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Darby's uncle tried to scare her off, even threatening her with a switch, but she stared him down with those big, determined eyes and shouted, "My mammy's got to have that 50 cents." It was a powerful display of unwavering desire. I bet that stopped him in his tracks.
It did. Her sheer willpower was undeniable. Darby's uncle, completely taken aback by her persistence, finally gave in.
Wow, she totally outsmarted him.
She did.
It seems like she had some kind of superpower.
Hill uses this story to highlight a profound point. He suggests that this child, even at such a young age, understood and intuitively applied a principle of success that many adults struggle with the power of unwavering desire.
Oh, wow.
This story is not about a child demanding money, but a child demonstrating an incredible level of persistence to achieve her goal.
That's a really interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I love how Hill uses these seemingly simple stories to illustrate such powerful principles. What strikes me is that each of these people, Barnes, Darby, and even this little girl, had this unwavering belief in themselves and their goals.
And that's a critical element of what Hill refers to as transmuting thoughts into reality. He suggests that our dominant thoughts, the ones we focus on most intensely, can actually attract corresponding forces, people, and circumstances into our lives. He's essentially saying that if you believe something strongly enough and back it up with action, you can make it happen.
So we're not just talking about positive thinking here, right?
No.
It's more about aligning our thoughts with our desires and taking consistent action.
Exactly. And a big part of this is developing what Hill calls money consciousness.
Okay.
It's not just about wanting to be rich. It's about cultivating an intense desire for wealth and developing concrete plans to achieve it.
So it's about having a clear vision and a plan, and then taking consistent action fueled by that burning desire. But what about those times when you feel like something is just impossible?
Hill challenges us to discard that word entirely. He uses the example of Henry Ford, who wanted to create a V8 engine. His engineers insisted it was impossible, but Ford refused to accept that.
It's almost like Ford dared the universe to prove him wrong.
You could say that. What's important to note is that Ford didn't just stubbornly insist.
Right.
He understood and applied the principles of success. He had that burning desire and unwavering belief which fueled his actions.
And in the end, he created the seemingly impossible V8 engine. Like he willed it into existence.
And Hill's point is that these principles can be applied to any field, not just engineering or business. He believes anyone can achieve extraordinary things if they truly understand and apply these principles.
This is pretty inspiring stuff. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's not just about working hard. It's about aligning our thoughts with our desires, taking consistent action, and refusing to give up on our dreams. Is that what you're getting from this chapter?
Absolutely. And to emphasize this point, Hill connects this power of thought to the famous quote by Henley, "I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul."
I love that quote.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying we have the power to shape our own destinies.
And that's a key point. We are masters of our fate because we can control our thoughts, which influence our actions and attract corresponding circumstances into our lives.
So it all comes down to mindset. It's about choosing to focus on thoughts of success and abundance rather than dwelling on thoughts of limitations and fear.
And that's the challenge Hill presents to each of us. What are we choosing to focus on? What kind of reality are we creating with our thoughts and actions? Yeah, it's a powerful concept, isn't it? We often feel like we're at the mercy of external circumstances. But Hill suggests that we have much more control over our destinies than we realize.
It's almost like he's saying we have this untapped potential within us, and it all starts with mastering our minds.
And that's what's so exciting about this chapter. It's a call to action to take control of our thoughts and shape our own realities.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, This burning desire isn't just some fluffy feel-good concept.
No.
It's a fundamental principle of success.
Precisely. Hill emphasizes that desire is the starting point of all achievement. It's the fuel that propels us forward.
But it's not just about passively wishing for something, right?
Mhm.
It's about taking that desire and transforming it into concrete action.
Exactly. And that's where persistence comes in. We've seen how both Barnes and Darby faced obstacles and setbacks, but their unwavering determination allowed them to overcome those challenges and ultimately achieve their goals.
It's like that saying, fall 7 times, stand up 8. It's about that grit and resilience that keeps you going even when things get tough.
And what's interesting is that Hill suggests that persistence is closely tied to faith. He believes that when you have a burning desire and you combine that with unwavering faith in your ability to achieve it, you create an unstoppable force.
So it's about believing in yourself and your vision, even when others might doubt you.
Exactly. Hill argues that faith is a state of mind that can be developed and strengthened through autosuggestion, which is essentially the process of repeatedly affirming your beliefs and desires to your subconscious mind.
So it's like reprogramming your mind for success, isn't it? Instead of focusing on doubts and fears, you're feeding your mind with positive affirmations and reinforcing your belief in your ability to achieve your goals.
That's a great way to put it. It's about consciously choosing to focus on thoughts and beliefs that empower you rather than those that limit you.
This is really starting to resonate with me.
Yeah.
But I have to ask, where does this faith come from? Is it something you're born with, or is it something you can cultivate?
That's a great question. And according to Hill, faith is not something you're necessarily born with, but it's a state of mind that you can develop through practice and by understanding the principles he outlines. He believes that faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the more we believe in ourselves and our ability to achieve our goals,
Right.
the more likely we are to actually achieve them. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. And this ties back to the concept of money consciousness that we discussed earlier. Hill argues that if you want to achieve financial success, you need to develop a deep-seated belief that you are capable of acquiring wealth. It's about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
So instead of thinking, I can't afford that, you start thinking, how can I achieve that? It's about seeing possibilities instead of limitations.
And that's a key distinction. It's about replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones.
This is making me think about all the times I've held myself back because of self-doubt or fear of failure. What if I had approached those situations with that unwavering belief in myself and my goals? Where would I be now?
It's a powerful question to consider, isn't it? And it highlights the importance of cultivating that definiteness of purpose that Edison saw in Barnes. It's about having a clear vision of what you want and relentlessly pursuing it with unwavering faith in yourself.
But what about when you feel like you're hitting a wall? How do you maintain that faith and persistence when things aren't going your way?
That's where the power of autosuggestion comes in. Hill argues that by repeatedly affirming your beliefs and desires to yourself, you can reprogram your subconscious mind to align with your goals.
So it's about feeding your mind with positive affirmations and visualizing your success.
Exactly. And it's about being mindful of the thoughts you allow yourself to dwell on. If you're constantly focusing on negative thoughts and doubts, you're essentially sabotaging your own success.
It's like that saying, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Exactly. Your beliefs shape your reality. So it's essential to choose beliefs that empower you and support your goals.
This is really making me think about the power of our thoughts and the impact they have on our lives. But how do we know if we're on the right track? I mean, sometimes it can feel like you're putting in all this effort and getting nowhere.
That's a valid concern, and Hill addresses this by emphasizing the importance of feedback. He suggests that we should constantly be evaluating our progress and making adjustments as needed. He encourages us to seek out mentors and advisors who can provide guidance and support along the way.
So it's not about blindly following a plan. It's about being flexible and adaptable and learning from our experiences.
Precisely. And it's about being open to feedback and willing to make changes when necessary.
This is all starting to come together now.
Hmm.
It's about having that burning desire, developing unwavering faith in yourself and your vision, taking persistent action, and being open to feedback and adjustments along the way.
And never forgetting that you are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul.
You know what's really striking me about all of this is that these principles aren't just about achieving financial success. They're about achieving success in any area of life.
Absolutely. These are universal principles that can be applied to relationships, health, personal growth, anything you set your mind to.
This is pretty inspiring stuff. And to think this is just chapter 1, I'm eager to see where Hill takes us in the next chapter.
Well, I can tell you that in Chapter 2, Hill delves deeper into the concept of faith and its role in transforming desires into tangible realities. He explores the power of the subconscious mind and provides practical techniques for harnessing its potential.
Sounds fascinating. I can't wait to dive into that. But before we move on, I want to make sure our listeners have a chance to really absorb what we've discussed so far.
That's a great idea.
Mhm.
It's a lot to take in, and it's important to give these concepts time to sink in.
So for our listeners out there, think about an area of your life where you have a burning desire to achieve something extraordinary. What steps can you take today to apply these principles? What limiting beliefs can you challenge? How can you strengthen your faith in yourself and your vision?
These are powerful questions to reflect on. Remember, the journey to success starts with a single step. Take that step today.
So much good stuff in just this first chapter.
It's amazing, isn't it?
We've covered the power of burning desire, the importance of persistence, and the idea that we can shape our reality through our thoughts and beliefs.
Exactly, and it's really about the application of these things, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've seen how these principles played out in the lives of real people.
Yeah.
Like Edwin Barnes, who went from like a stowaway
Right.
to a business partner with Thomas Edison.
It's such a powerful story.
And R.U. Darby, who turned his uncle's heartbreaking gold mine experience into a powerful lesson about perseverance.
Yeah, using those failures.
And even that little girl who demanded 50 cents from Darby's uncle
Oh, yeah, I love that story.
showed us that like unwavering desire can move mountains,
Right.
no matter like your age or circumstances.
That's so powerful.
These stories are so inspiring because they prove that success isn't just for the lucky or the privileged.
Right.
It's available to anyone who's willing to cultivate the right mindset and take consistent action.
I think that's what Hill is trying to get across.
And that's a really empowering message.
It is.
Chapter 1 of Think and Grow Rich lays a solid foundation for the rest of the book.
I agree.
It's given us a glimpse into the power of our minds and the potential that lies within each of us.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
It's like a call to action,
Yeah.
to step into our power, to embrace our dreams,
Yes.
and to pursue them with like unwavering desire and persistence.
I love it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Chapter 1,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
I like it.
Think about that burning desire you identified earlier. That thing you want to achieve,
Right.
that dream you've been holding on to.
That you're afraid of.
What can you do today
Yeah.
to take one small step
Yeah, just one.
towards making that dream a reality?
It doesn't have to be this monumental, overwhelming thing, just one step.
Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Love it.
Take that step today
Do it.
and keep those burning desires alive.
Yes.
In our next deep dive, we'll explore Chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich,
Okay.
where Hill delves into the fascinating concept of faith
I can't wait.
and its role in transforming desires into reality.
Yes.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.
Hit that button.
Until then, keep thinking big and never give up on your dreams.